So these are two right-hand drive Chevrolet Camaros converted by Autogroup International. The crazy thing is there's a $100,000 price difference between it. Stick around during this video and we'll explain why. So this is the ZL1, a 2024 brand new converted to right-hand drive versus something like this, which is the LT1 version. The most important thing is that Autogroup can provide not only brand new vehicles, but we can also convert vehicles that are up to 3 years old. So you can absolutely start at the top of the range ZL1, which is 6.2 litre supercharged V8, absolutely bonkers, or you can step back down through the trim levels to save you money, and equally, you can step back through a few years. So you don't have to purchase a brand new vehicle, you can get a 2021, a 2022, or a 2023. So there is a big way of you being able to save a huge amount of money, not only in buying the vehicle, but ultimately also on how much duty you have to pay when you import it into the country upon where you live. So as most of you know, Chevrolet stopped production of the Camaro in January 2024, so you can no longer buy the brand new Camaros. That said, we can still source new Camaros for you from the ZL1 down through the trim. But the interesting thing, this is the 6th gen Camaro, so they've been being made since 2016, so over the last 8 years. In 2019, they did a mid-cycle refresh, which wasn't huge, and I guess that's really illustrated by the fact, now this is one of, oh, that is hot, but it's one of our personal cars, it's just a part of our car collection. So this is a 2017 Camaro versus a 2024, so both 6th gen, and there are obvious differences, and this of course is a ZL1, so it is the absolute beast of all beasts. But I guess it's important to note that through that 6th gen, it's very hard to spot from an exterior perspective at least what the differences are. The key differences really, well, they're definitely minor exterior differences. There's definitely technology upgrades, certainly with parking assist and those sorts of things, different transmissions, different trim levels, etc. But I guess the fundamental point is that it doesn't in so many ways, well, most people wouldn't know if you've got a brand new 2024 vehicle or indeed a vehicle that's 1, 2 or 3 years old. And that's perfectly illustrated by this, which is a 2017 and hot, versus this, which is a 2024. Also quite warm. So it's a really good visual indicator that not only can we convert vehicles that are brand new or 1, 2 or 3 years old, but when it comes to driving them on the road, the styling is very, very, very similar. So it's a pretty cool thing to note. Now, Autogroup's converted hundreds and hundreds of muscle cars over our 30 years. So Dodge Challengers, Dodge Chargers, and a bucket load of Camaros. And obviously, you know, you're typically either a Dodge Challenger or you're a Camaro fan, so one or the other. Obviously, I'm sitting inside the brand new 2024 ZL1 Camaro that we've converted from left-hand drive to right-hand drive, which is just lovely. Now, the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're buying a Dodge Challenger, a Dodge Charger, or a Camaro, if it's brand new or indeed a second-hand unit, all of them go through our same quality assurance, ISO, compliance, and homologation process. For us as a vehicle converter, it's no different. So Challenger versus a Camaro, new versus second-hand, they go through the same quality control and production processes. Now, importantly, that's something that we've been doing for 20 years. So when you look at this vehicle, it's absolutely perfect. That's no fluke. That is simply the fact that we've done hundreds and hundreds of the vehicles. Now, if your budget doesn't stretch to a brand new ZL1 like this, and I think every time I say ZL1, I'll press the accelerator, but you know, a ZL1 like this is an expensive vehicle. You can go beyond this if you want to go absolutely bonkers crazy. You can look at something like the Hennessy Performance Exorcist, where they take this, the 650 horsepower ZL1, and drive it out to over 1,000 horsepower. I mean, it is absolutely the dog's bollocks of muscle cars, but incredibly expensive vehicles. So if your budget doesn't stretch to that far, we're able to convert vehicles that are 1, 2 or 3 years old. So rather than brand new, we can slip back 1 or 2 or 3 years. Now, importantly, we've got a team in North America, so buying a new car is relatively straightforward. Something like this now is hard to find, but it's relatively straightforward. You know, we want a ZL1, this color, these factory options, we find it, we secure it, and we bring it to us here in Sri Lanka, convert it and send to you. A second-hand vehicle, though, opens up a bucket of worms. We then start to need to look at, obviously, what year do you want, what trim level do you want, what engine do you want, but it's then all about the mileage, the condition of the vehicles, the condition of the tires and brakes, any dents or scratches or dents, etc. And that's where it's really critical that, as I said, we've got a team in North America, so it's really critical that when looking at a second-hand vehicle, that you've got a trusted team that can actually go out and personally look at the vehicle. Now, I guess the thing that we've learned over 30 years and 4,500 vehicles is there is no bargain. You know, people will look online and go, oh my God, you know, that vehicle there is 5,000 or 10,000 or I don't know, it's a heck of a lot cheaper. There is a reason for that, and inevitably it's, I don't know, due to its condition, due to it needing tires and brakes, whether it's been in an accident, all of those sorts of factors absolutely influence the cost of the vehicle. And it's really a case there where you need to work with somebody that knows what the hell they're actually doing and can actually get out and go and visit and see the vehicle and test it to understand what it is that we're going to be buying or you're going to be buying. So that's a pretty important thing, but that's really one of the ways that you can go from spending, you know, a huge amount of money down to spending a reasonable amount of money. And I guess the other, you know, important consideration to have is that these are muscle cars. So inevitably, whoever's owned the car before you will probably have driven it like a muscle car. You know, you don't get a 2 or 3 year old ZL1 Camaro that somebody's nana's been driving. You know, it's a car that's been driven hard. So it's probably more important to be more careful in buying a vehicle that's 1 or 2, 3 years old. But that's again where you work with us. You know, there's something we do every single day of the week. We find the vehicle and we give you the options of being able to, you know, to consider what vehicle it is that you want, and we can work forward from there. So pretty straightforward, but this is absolutely lovely. So the process for us really, when it comes to whether it's a new vehicle or a vehicle that's 2 or 3 year old, is the same. You know, we source the vehicle in North America, we organise all of the logistics to be able to move it from wherever it happens to be in North America to port, pack it in a container, ship it to Sri Lanka, do our conversion, put it back in a container, and then ship it to wherever it is that you happen to be. Australia, India, UK, South Africa, Indonesia, Malaysia, in 40 odd countries that we ship our vehicles to. So it is pretty straightforward. As I said before, the trick with a vehicle that's not new is to make sure you've got somebody that you trust that's actually going to see the vehicle. I mean, heaven help you buying a vehicle, particularly a muscle car that's a few years old, just off photographs. You know, it's going to lead to dramas. And for us, one of the key things is to understand exactly what is it that we need to do to the vehicle beyond the left-hand drive to right-hand drive conversion. So, you know, tires and wheels, a service, maybe there's exterior paint or dents that need to be fixed. But the trick for us is to be able to, and us by, I mean, it's us as in Autogroup and you, our buyer, is to look at each individual vehicle and weigh up its merits. This vehicle is X, but we need to do these 4 things to it, or this vehicle is slightly more expensive, but we don't need to do these sorts of things to it. So that's part of the journey that we undertake together. The thing you might be surprised at, and you know, this is obviously a 2017 vehicle, it's part of our personal collection that we just look at. But even our new vehicles, when they come in, often have small dents or small scratches, etc., that our team here always fix. So for us, the minor cosmetic elements is just something that we do in the day-to-day. It's something we do even with brand new vehicles. But what we're looking for with our second-hand vehicles, our 1, 2, 3-year-old vehicles, is accident damage. So we always do a Carfax style report to make sure the vehicle hasn't been involved in a collision. We always look beyond the cosmetic elements for any front end damage or rear end damage, no matter how hard people have tried to hide it. And we take a pragmatic approach, tires, brakes, those sorts of bits and pieces, so that we can work out what's the best vehicle for you. But ultimately, you can spend, you know, well and truly over $200,000 US, well and truly over that, to buy a Hennessy Exorcist, the 1,000 horsepower machine. I mean, they are absolutely stunning, but you can also get into a right-hand drive Camaro shipped to port for well under $100,000 US. So there is a way for you to be able to have your dream right-hand drive muscle car. It's about working out which year, which trim, and then pulling the trigger and moving forward. Let's get into the details. So when choosing your Camaro, it's a pretty straightforward set of choices, really. The first one is, do you want the coupe or do you want the convertible? And that's black or white. What one do you want? Convertible, coupe. Obviously exterior color is an element. And then there are 7 different trim levels which range through the Camaros. Now there's about a $40,000 price difference from the baseline Camaro to the ZL1, the top of the range. So there's a fair old price gap between those. And it's really, I guess, broken down into 3 options: the 1LT, 2LT, and the 3LT, which is the 3.5 litre V6 engine developing 355 brake horsepower. You then step up to the LT1, 1SS, and the 2SS, which is where you jump to the V8, to the 6.2 litre V8. And then the top of the range is the ZL1, which I'm sitting in, which is the supercharged 6.2 litre. So really, they're your 3 levels: the V6, your stock V8, that being said, it is stonking, or all the way up to the supercharged version, and each step goes each way. Now the interesting thing is, between the 2SS to the ZL1, there's about a $25,000 price gap. So $40,000 overall, bottom of the range to the bottom of the range, to the top of the range, ZL1. But from the 2SS to the ZL1, it's like a $25,000 price jump. So yeah, that gets you your supercharger, it gets you 650 horsepower rather than 455 horsepower. But one could argue, I don't know, it's a lot of money for 200 extra horsepower, and equally, maybe where are you going to drive it necessarily? But that gives you that sense. So coupe, convertible, 7 trim levels, effectively 3 engine options: V6, V8, or the supercharged V8, and the price gaps between those. And then as you step backwards in years, obviously you're reducing in value, because obviously brand new is brand new. We don't ever talk about, particularly on YouTube, we don't talk about specific prices. And the reason for that, it's not because we're trying to hide something, it's for the fact that we ship to 40 odd different countries. So all of a sudden, you know, you could very well have a sea freight price difference of $3,000 or $4,000 without a worry in the world. You also then need to consider the duties to actually import it into your country, registration, VAT or GST, whatever sort of consumer tax is. So they all vary, but that's part of, I guess, the thing of working with us, is that you can talk to us and go, guys, yes, look, Rob, I'm interested in a Camaro, money's no object, I want a blue ZL1 or Riptide blue ZL1 Camaro, because that's what I want. Or we have lots of conversations with our customers who go, hey, look, I've got this to spend, what is the best vehicle that we're able to get? And I guess the key of that is that, you know, sometimes you might be better to, you know, step back a year. Instead of looking at a 22, you look at a 21, maybe because that gives you a better trim level. Maybe you're better to be buying one, you know, based upon the mileage. But again, I come back to the point that there's no bargains, right? A good vehicle is always well priced, but the thing to look out for is don't buy them off the internet, don't buy them off pictures. It's a case of having an expert like us, and indeed our team, go and check the vehicles for you and give you the options. Because at the end of the day, we're the people that have to convert it, we're the people that have to provide you with a warranty, we are the people that you're going to call when you have a problem. So, you know, we need to make sure that we're, you know, buying the right vehicle. The other thing to consider is that we work in a couple of different ways. So you can ring us and say, hey Rob, I want this and this is my budget, brand new ZL1, or I want to spend X amount of money. Let's work out what Camaro or Challenger or Charger you can get, and we'll work out the options there. So that is certainly one. I guess that's the, I don't know, the full vehicle option. You know, we will do everything. Find the vehicle, ship it, convert it, warranty, send it to port, the whole thing. The other option is that you can go and buy your own Camaro and send it to us for conversion. So there's 2 distinct ways of working. Full service, if you like, we do everything, or you can, you know, buy off the internet. Please don't, that is gonna be a car crash. But you can absolutely jump on an aeroplane, fly to North America, fly to the US, and buy yourself a Camaro. Now, it is not as easy as people think. So don't just go and hop on an airplane tomorrow and go and try and buy yourself a Camaro, because you won't be able to. There are not so much tricks, but there is a process. There are things to know, tricks to learn, etc. But that's again part of the element where you give us a call, you give me a call and say, hey Rob, I like the idea of taking a couple of weeks holiday and flying to the States and buying myself a muscle car, Camaro, Challenger, Charger, etc. What are the things that I need to consider? And that is, again, you know, look, we've been doing it for 30 years. We've shipped and converted over 4,500 vehicles. So we have learnt all the lessons, some, you know, hard lessons the hard way. But that knowledge is something that we're very happy to share with our customers. So whether you want to, as I said, whether you want to be able to buy a full vehicle ready to go like this, turn the key and it's delivered to Australia or India or Indonesia or the UK, or whether you want to sort of do a bit of a choose your own adventure and go on a holiday and fully get into the experience, talk to us and we can guide you on some of the some of the things to be aware of, some of the hidden costs to consider. At the end of the day, our focus is about converting vehicles and ultimately having vehicles for life. We've got customers that have been buying for us quite literally for decades. Customers that are on their third, fourth, fifth, sixth, multiple vehicles over the years. And the only way that you do that is, from integrity, not bullshitting people. It's about, are we interested in selling a vehicle? Yeah, of course we are. But I'm actually more interested in selling you a vehicle today, but also another one in a year's time or 2 years' time, or more particularly happy for you to buy a vehicle, but then I'd really like all of your friends to also buy a vehicle. So for us, it's about doing the right thing, sharing the knowledge that we've learned and earned over the last 30 years. The quality, as you can see in this ZL1, you look around it, you would not know this did not come out of a Chevrolet factory. And actually, I guess I'll let you in a secret, these are, from a finish perspective, particularly our dashboards, better than when they come out of the OEM factory. And that might upset a few people, but it is quite a common element. These are ultimately hand-built versus vehicles that are coming out of production lines. So there's going to be a natural difference. So you want a proper V8 powered muscle car, now is the time. Whether it's brand new or a few years old, you know what to do. Thank you guys for watching. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help us out, and it also I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.